Hello, I'm Phillip Taylor from Richmond Green Chambers. I'm talking today about a book. In fact, I've reviewed it recently. It's called E-Finance, Law and Regulation from LexisNexis. And it's about, obviously, the current position concerning finance. It's written by a team of writers from Lovells called Paul Anning, Emily Reed and Heather Rowe. Now, I've titled the written review New Generation E-Finance because this is a book which is at the tip of a new era for the way in which we're going to be looking at finance. I think it's one of the most important books to come on finance law and regulation at the beginning of the 21st century, and I'm sure it'll be welcomed by all in the industry, especially with the current economic turmoil. Obviously, much has changed very, very quickly within the finance industry with the arrival of easy and cheap access to the internet. And the authors have attempted to explain what is going on in quite a fast-moving area. Our new technologies, of course, have created new products like e-money, which requires legislation, obviously linked in with the EU. And there are all sorts of other things like the e-money directive and e-commerce directives which have to be taken into consideration. However boring it may be to some of the older people and to many people who find the fathoming and the understanding of some of these directives difficult. Lovells, anyway, have produced and masterminded this work under the editorial expertise of Paul Anning, Emily Reed and Heather Rowe, who've done a very good job as a triumvirate. They've got excellent specialist knowledge and contributors, and they've set a fast pace here with the technological changes in what is again a fast-moving environment. It's got 5 parts which you can look at in some detail in the book, which is a nice A4 size book. Each chapter summary, I found actually at the beginning, gives a really excellent piece of advice. There's a great website checklist. Word of warning though, please, the websites do get out of date quite quickly, so do keep up to date. What I was going to suggest, and I put it in the review, is that in fact we might have some sort of online research centre or updating service to go with this in the course of time. Obviously every chapter will be relevant to lawyers, but the ones that I think stand out are chapter 6 concerning online contracting, and chapter 13 on electronic signatures, which there are specialist books of course available. Chapter 3, a bit confusing, was called Coordinated Field. I wondered what that was for a moment, but we understand that we know what we mean by legal and regulatory frameworks, and that of course is going to be at the forefront once we get out of the current economic downturn. As I say, I was most impressed with this publication because it links the traditional law books which LexisNexis and Butterworth have published in the past with giving it the feeling of a computer manual almost, without meaning to be rude to any old computer programmers as we used to call them in the late 60s, early 70s. It's not, don't take it the wrong way, it's an excellent book. The layout's helpful because I like the short summaries that are there at the beginning and the trenchant conclusions on each occasion. It's certainly a book that's very useful for anybody involved in finance in this day and age. I finished it and I came to the conclusion this is a book for the future. It's about the future, and it's given, I think, a very fair statement of where the law and the regulation of e-finance stood now a few years ago, because obviously we're moving on. We're going to need a new edition of this book, I would think. It's inevitable with the credit crunch, of course, and the massive shifts in global finance and the way in which we think about e-finance, the internet, and how much regulation we need, that we need this book for the future. And as I say, and I said it right at the beginning, it is a book about new generation e-finance. And very welcome it is too. So thank you, the three of you, very much indeed for it. Bye-bye.